This is the Black Bible. Welcome back to the Black Bible, and this is part 2 of our conversation on forgiveness. If you haven't listened to part 1, well, what are you doing here? I highly recommend you go back and listen to part 1. We said some pretty interesting things that you do not want to miss, but the choice is yours at the end of the day. If this is your first time listening to us, you can find part 1 and our older episodes of our podcast on your preferred listening platform. But without further ado, here's part 2. Enjoy. But I have 2 questions, and hopefully I can remember my second question. My first question is that what happens when you don't forget and you end up holding somebody else accountable for the actions that someone did to you previously? If you understand what I mean, where it's just like, okay, you had a friend that ended up cheating on you. And since then, and here's this new friend, and you know this new friend has been sent by God, but you have trouble trusting them because of what your previous friend did. So that's my first question. And my second question, Jesus Christ, I can't remember. I had a really good second question that tied into beating yourself up, but I can't remember at the moment. So let's just talk about the first question. Hopefully it comes back to mind.
Okay.
But before we get into forgiveness of the self, because that's another thing that is like really important. What do you like carrying that hurt from that's what I wanted to say for the first question. Carrying that hurt from one relationship, one friendship, one whatever ship to another one.
I don't know, man. I've never been in well, let me not say that. I do know. I think really and truly that's where God has to step in, right? Because I've learned from a very young age that not everybody is going to be a friend, right? And because I've learned from a very young age through a traumatic experience, and I won't even, as a child, it was traumatic. As an adult, I'm like, suck it up, buttercup.
Yeah.
But as a child, that was a traumatic experience for me as a child, learning that everybody's not going to be your friend has very much limited how I view friendship. In that I very much am a person who says, I'm not going to go and make friends. Friends are going to have to come to me. Because when I went and made friends, this is what happened. And literally that has followed me and still follows me to this day. And so friendships now are harder for me because that what happened as a child has now carried on into my teenage years, into my young adult years. But I have to catch myself and say, well, that's what's as a child. That happened when I was a kid. These are brand new people. I can't hold these brand new people accountable for what happened to me as a child. However, it's hard because that's the type of stuff that's rooted in you.
Right.
That's the type of stuff that really hurt. That's the type of stuff that you gotta get Jesus and therapy to like sew it out of you, to like take it out of you, operate on you for. But when let's do the scenario about, okay, your best friend and your significant, not your best friend, a friend of yours and your significant other cheated on you with each other, right? You're like, I can't deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. Bye-bye, right? You come into a brand new space. You make another friend. Your walls about friendship are already stacked like the Tower of Babel because you already had a previous friendship where that trust was broken.
Yeah.
How do you tear down Babel? I can't tell you because every person's Babel is different.
It's different, right.
every person's wall is different, and every person's road to like actual forgiveness and healing, because that wall could also be up because you saw the flags and you didn't try to like burn them, or you didn't like, as a word I'm trying to say, you saw the signs and you ignored them. That also could be why the wall is up. Because you saw the signs where your friend was like being too much little friendly with your significant other. You saw all the signs, but you're like, nah, this is my friend. Nah, we're cool. This is my significant other. There is no way, just like all the people in America thought there was no way Trump could win, there was no way that this person and this person is going to do this to me. When it does happen, you're like, I should have known better, and I hate them.
Because that was going to lead to my second question, right? And this, and now finally getting to the self. What is the difference between the warning signs being there and you think that the warning signs are there? I say that because I'm saying that essentially waiting for the other shoe to drop. Because one thing about me is that, and God is still working on me, is that I'm the type of person to where I'm always in a state of, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm waiting for it. Even with my close circle of friends, or with basically like my brothers, like I'm waiting. I'm just sitting here, just waiting on the edge of my seat, just look like popcorn in my hand, like at the movie theater. I'm waiting for the climax. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop, even though I know that they would never. Then forgiveness and hurt goes hand in hand. Yeah. They would never intentionally hurt me in that way. Mm-hmm. I know that, but I'm still like, because of what I've been through in the past. All right, okay. They did this without talking to me first. That's the other shoe. I knew it. They're out to get me. Like, what is the difference between what is when you see actual warning signs, when you see warning signs, whether by the Spirit of God or if you don't really believe in God, signs that just make you go, wait a minute, versus like, okay, you're looking for these things so you can say, I knew it the whole time.
I think you said it. Like, you said it, like, literally just now. There's one is, I see the signs that, and I'll tell anybody this, do not ignore the warning signs. Do not ignore red flags. If it makes you uncomfortable, you need to say something. You see the signs. You're seeing it manifest and come before, and manifest is such a spiritual word. Manifest before your eyeballs. You're seeing it, and you're like, something about that is sus. Whereas you, as a person, because of what you've been through, you're looking for signs. Looking for signs and seeing signs are two separate things. Seeing signs is like, okay, that's suspicious. Looking for signs is being Sherlock Holmes and putting everything underneath a microscope, looking, click, click, okay, that looks weird. Click, click, that might be weird, it might not be weird. Click, click, I don't know. I'm just waiting for somebody to mess up. Click, click, just mess up once. Just mess up once so I can tell myself, I knew it all along. Y'all was always suspicious. You were looking for stuff. And the problem with looking for stuff is you look too hard, you're going to find something. Yep. And really and truly, there might be nothing there. Like, you're looking for it because you've been so hurt. You're looking for it because, and we're off the topic of forgiveness maybe a little bit.
Yeah, but forgiveness and hurt goes hand in hand.
But you're looking for stuff that aren't there because you've had an experience in the past. I'll tell you this, stop looking for stuff. Let stuff happen. And I hate to be like the passive person who sits back and want to tell you, because that's not me, to let stuff happen. But really, if you're the type of person who looks for who is waiting to hear the other shoe drop, like, wait to see stuff to manifest. Wait to see for stuff to pop off. Like, at the movies, we can't predict. Well, if you're watching a Hallmark movie, you can predict what's going to happen.
It's a fun movie.
But if you're watching the Avengers, unless you're watching the Avengers for the first time, you can't predict what's going to happen because the writers are that good. You can't, if you're watching a really good TV show, you can't predict. You kind of you could speculate and kind of have a theory, but that's all that it is.
Right.
It's a theory. There's no proof until you actually see the episode and see what's happening. So the problem that you are running into is that you're basing your present on your past, which is not a bad thing because we are made up of our past experiences. However, you're letting your past experience inform your present instead of learning from your past experiences, saying that was the past, this is what happened, this is what I've learned, and I'm moving on through the future. Learning from your past experiences, and it sounds very similar, learning from your past experiences to me is not the same of letting your past inform your present. Whereas my past shouldn't dictate what happens, how I act in the present. I've learned from what happened. Again, going back to your friend and your significant other cheated on you with each other.
Right.
Oh, that's a lot of forgiveness. You might want to take that 70 times 7 route and start saying, I forgive you until you mean it, right? But you get in another relationship. This person is nothing like your ex-girlfriend, boyfriend, significant other. However, because your ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, significant other did that crap to you with a friend, you don't want your present significant other to even meet your friends.
Yeah.
You tell them you don't got none. You tell them you're a loner. You tell them that you ain't have none from childhood. You don't got none. You will never have none, which is not true. You have friends. And that's a whole lie, and that's a whole nother conversation about lying in relationships that we can't even cover right now. But you do that because in the past, when you introduced your friend to your significant other, this whole snowball of a debacle occurred, and you ended up the one crying in a tub of Rocky Road or cookies and cream ice cream. So you try to not let that same situation happen again. Projecting what happened before on your present situation. Instead of saying, okay, this is a brand new person. They're brand spanking new. Not like baby new factory, but like they're new to this relationship. This is a brand new relationship. This is a brand new person. Yes, that person in the past did what they did, and they should rot in hell for it, because you're still hurting just a little bit. Because if your best friend or your friend and your significant other cheat on you with each other, that's some hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
And you might be, first of all, if you're still healing, don't get in a relationship, because all you're going to do is bring that hurt into the relationship. That's the one caveat. But say you've healed, right? You've healed, you've gotten over it, and we're way over time, but you've healed, you've gotten over it, you're okay with it, you're moving on, right? You got to now say, hey, this person is a brand new person. This person they not the same person. This is literally a different person.
Different scenario.
This is literally a different scenario. You as a person might say, hey, this is what happened to me in the past, X, Y, and Z. If you're at that level of relationship, you could say, hey, my ex such and such, and basically if this person is still your friend, you got issues. But
different conversation.
But my ex such and such and my ex friend, they cheated on me with each other. I'm a little guarded, and this is where communication comes into play. I'm a little guarded within this relationship because of what happened. However, I've forgiven them, and this is a brand new relationship, and when I call me out on my crap, right? Because I know that what happened in the past is going to creep up a little bit, and I'm sorry in advance for that, but I'm working on it. I've forgiven this person. I've moved on from this person, but that lingering doubt, that lingering fear, those lingering thoughts they're not as loud as they were when this whole debacle first bust, but they're there. They're in a box. I'm trying to keep, sealed and moved out of my head, but every once in a while it oozes out the box. And so when I get into that mood, call me out on it.
Call me out.
Be open and honest. Because remember, and we were off the topic of forgiveness, but then you're here forgiving first of all, forgive yourself. You saw the signs, you ignored it, or it snuck up on you. Like literally, like sniper, like pew, like you did not see this coming. And trust me, there are some times that you won't see it coming. It snuck up on you, and you're like, this is way left field.
Exactly.
But forgive yourself and say, hey, these people were crappy. Sorry, God. These people were crappy. They weren't my friends. This person wasn't my friend because they would never do this to me. And this significant other, may they find peace and bless their heart. Okay? Bless like the Southern Baptist ladies would say, bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Let God bless their heart and move 70 times 7 until you really forgive and move on, right? And I mean, moving on and forgiveness is another. I mean, I feel like this could be another topic.
It could be another topic.
Be another part too, because there's moving on from that type of pain is something. I'll say this and shut up because I feel like I've been talking for a while. It's going to take some time.
Yeah.
But forgiving yourself for what has happened to you is a whole other topic in itself. Well, we touched based upon that. But being honest with yourself, that will help you forgive. And with your significant others, saying, hey, this is what happened. And I'm sorry if at any point I try to be like, all right, bet. You like, I'm all up in your face, or like, I'm angry, or like I snap at you because this is what happened in the past. And I'm trying not to let what happened in the past come up and inform this relationship that we have right now. And learn from I feel like I've said it a lot. Learn from your past, not take your past and let it form how you do stuff in the future. I know it makes no sense, but take the lessons and be in the present, not take the past with the present.
And on the topic of, and just lightly touch it, we could of course expand on it in a future episode. But on the topic of self-forgiveness, is that it's a long process.
Yeah.
And that process differs for everybody. Like for me, I remember, again, a lot of things happen in high school. I guess that's why my college life was so boring. But for me, even with my ex-girlfriend, thank God I didn't cheat or anything like that. But the way the relationship ended, I felt really guilty. And I could say it ended because of A, me being young, and B, I wasn't really willing to communicate and or compromise, but I felt really guilty. And for a while, in that regard, I thought of myself in a negative light. And of course, my perception was that people around me was thinking they're thinking about me in a negative light. But that is another conversation for another time.
How about, you know what? Because we are running out of time, right? How about we put a whole big red pin in this? Because I feel like this conversation can be twofold. This conversation most definitely is way over time, and ain't nobody listening to the rest of this. But this conversation could be twofold, because then we're not just talking about forgiveness, but we're also talking about perception. Because, I mean, the problem, and I'm putting a pin in it right now, the problem that you stated is a big problem. That I was looking at myself this way, and because I'm looking at myself this way, I'm thinking everybody is looking at me this way. And pin right there. Boop. Right there. We will be back with that, because that's something that's real.
It's real. It's a real thing.
And the funny thing is,
it's a real thing. Yeah, it's real, and it's a real thing.
And the funny thing is, like, in the church, it's huge.
It's huge. Stick a pin in it. Thank you for listening to this extra long episode of the Black Bible, and the topic of so it says self forgiveness and perception, especially in the church and even outside of the church, will be back. And just like at the end of a Marvel movie, self healing and self forgiveness and perception will return. But again, thank you for listening to our comeback episode. Hopefully, life won't be life, and we can get back to getting these out weekly and monthly. And hey, more towards the end of August, we are doing a thing, and I believe that it was mentioned in the small announcement video that went out before this came out. But we want to hear from you. We want to hear your questions. If you have any topics that you guys want us to talk about, if you have any comments that you want us to kind of sort of read out loud and give our own opinions on, anything, we want to hear from you guys. So follow our Instagram. I believe it's at the Black Bible Podcast, or at the Black Bible. You'll know it's us by the icon. And, don't be scared to DM us, leave a comment under some of the posts, and, we'll look at those, and we'll pretty much pick ones that, the most popular ones, or ones that we really feel moved to do. But until next time, stay blessed, be blessed, and take your time and forgive. Whoever you need to, whether you believe in God or not, just take your time, heal, and forgive. You'll feel better, and even though they say it's about the other person, it's just as much about you as well. Take your time, forgive, and we'll see you next time.